You could watch a thing on TV, like Big Brother evictions, there'd be 3 or 4 save chip banners.
Amazing.
Every football match they'd be there. It was everywhere. And you could see things that you do or things that you talk about would just spread throughout football. It was good, yeah.
I've always liked the good things in life. Good art, a good book, good coffee. I'm so particular about my coffee, our cook says, make it yourself. And so I do. Let me show you how.
That's good coffee. Over the last 7, 8, 9 months, I've had a little bit more time than I'm used to on my hands. It's actually been quite a few years since I've spent this much time in one place at home and not been travelling, thanks to the lockdowns and everything that's been going on. In that time, I've been becoming increasingly more aware about how much I'm neglecting this YouTube channel. So I started flirting with the idea of getting things going again, only this time with the idea of making more purpose-led content that go alongside some big changes in the way that I look at things that are often covered on this channel. Things like cars, things like travel, things like food, etc. So I started to plan it out, activities were on the cards, plans had been made, and then bang! Lockdown 2 happened, and those plans have sort of fallen flat. Obviously for good reason. Now luckily, before things started getting scary again, my mate and YouTube sensation Robbie Knox invited me for a little chat and walk series he has on his channel. So I went along and did that, and took my camera with me and filmed a little chat of my own, talking with Robbie about all things YouTube, his time in Soccer AM, and much more. So long story short, there's more videos coming, but for now, make yourself comfortable, maybe grab a snack and enjoy Robbie Knox and I in the lovely English countryside. So come for a little bit of a walk and a chat with this man, Mr. Robbie Knox.
Behind here, hello.
Back in Essex, come down to Hanningfield Reservoir, which is an amazing bed of water, a nature reserve, just a top quality bit of Essex countryside. I haven't seen you in physical form for quite a few months.
No, it's joyous. I'm really happy. This is my second favourite southeastern reservoir after Buell. But very good.
Second of how many?
Two, two large reservoirs.
So large.
I mean, there are smaller ones. No, but there's plenty of smaller reservoirs. But of a large open reservoir, this is the second best.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for inviting me on this walk. It's good to see you and good to chat. And good to get out in the country, out of the city.
Yeah, nice. I live in the country, so this is pretty much every day for me. But for you, I imagine you're having a lovely time.
I am. Talk us through the series on your channel.
So my YouTube channel, and I go for walks with people. So today we're going for a walk with Saunders, and it's basically a walk and a chat, a bit like a sort of relaxed podcasty sort of feel. Been on lots so far with Bambino Becky, Jack Mate, Lloyd Griffith, loads of people really, and now Saunders has kindly come for a walk. It's been very pleasant. Brought his own coffee kit. Very try hard.
We've spent today on your channel talking about me essentially and things like that. I want to talk about you because
Oh, thanks, mate.
we met in a professional capacity, didn't we? Like when we were both filming different things. You were filming. I think
the first time I met you was with Jack.
Where was that?
I think you did his Food Bar radio show.
Oh yeah, no, you're right.
We
You're
went
right.
for drinks
you're right.
after that.
Yes, you're
And
right.
then I met you. I think you were filming with Spencer, weren't you?
Yeah.
And you didn't have a memory card.
Oh, so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I'm shooting an interview. I think it was with Marcus Rashford at
Yeah.
West Ham Stadium for a FIFA launch. And I'm like, we're set up, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And I go to press record, and I'm like, no memory card. Oh my god, rookie error. And you were filming something in like with another player.
I think I was doing something. Yeah, I was doing something there.
And I went and asked him probably. You saved my bacon big time that day.
Yeah, that's funny that. I like that. It's weird that because I did quite a lot of those things where I'd go and do stuff filming at those sort of events, and I'd be filming quite often, filming YouTubers playing FIFA with other people. Because it was before I did YouTube, I didn't really know anything about YouTube. I have no idea who any of them were.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But quite often now I'll be like, now I've got into YouTube as well. I'll be like, because I remember having film Calfreezy and have no idea who Calfreezy is. I'm thinking, all right, this guy's good.
This teenager.
Should have watched this. Should have watched this before. But yeah, so God knows the people that I've filmed, I've got no idea who they were now. I might just go through my emails and find out who I've filmed in the past.
Now, I think obviously more people are knowing you more and more for your YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Like, your channel's doing really well. It's like really good videos. I definitely recommend it. It's honestly, if not my favourite, in my top 3 favourite YouTube channels at the moment that I'm watching.
I get quite a lot of YouTubers who say that. I'm like this indie band that hasn't got like, they're not popular with the wider world, but like amongst musicians, they really like them.
I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, it's because you make the content that I always wanted to make, in terms of like how it's just like you going about stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing contrived about it. It's all just like really honest and really like easy and to watch and relatable. And relatable is the key word, I think. But so yeah, I look at it and I'm like, that is really fresh and organic. I like it.
Well, I think part of my motivation is I think a lot of younger people now have pressures that I didn't have because I didn't use the internet until I was 18. I mean, it obviously existed, but no one had it. I remember when I was at university, my friend Jim had a room that had the internet in, and we were like taking the piss out of him. Like, going, what do you do the internet for, mate? What are you looking up, weirdo? But I think now there's a pressure to pretend your life is better than it is. Whereas I'm sort of, a lot of the time I'm sort of pretending my life is worse than it is. like bin day isn't necessarily the highlight of my day. But I think there's a lot to be said for just because I remember, it's to sound name dropping, but I remember talking to Noel Gallagher when I worked at Soccer AM. Wow. I was in the green room there, and we were talking about how quite often people would ask to do behind the scenes at his house and say, can I film you a day at home? Noel Gallagher. He says, I always say no. He goes, because the reality is, I'm sat on my sofa eating dinner, watching TV. He goes, the idea of a rock star at home is a lot more exciting than the reality of a rock star at home. But everyone, unless you're Madonna or someone you've got Butler or something like that, everyone has to take their bins out, or everyone has to do the same things, whatever you're doing, sort of thing. And I think a lot of people sort of pretend they don't have to do these sort of, like you see these things about people pretending they're on a private jet when it's just a photo shoot and something like that.
There's like legitimate places where people go for that shot.
Yeah.
It's just like a warehouse.
Yeah.
Getting that sweet content.
Yeah, that sweet berry B-roll.
Isn't that what B-roll stands for?
Berry roll.
Berry roll.
Yeah, that's where the ancient Egyptians called it that. That's what they used to do most of their vlogs with. with berries. I don't know. I just don't know, so I'm very tired.
Your career is quite interesting. You've done so many cool things that I don't know if you talk about it that much on your channel. I mean, you have the guests.
Yeah, not really, not much. Yeah.
Like, you've done some pretty amazing things. Like the first I knew about you was from the Soccer AM days.
Yep.
Hello, I'm Robbie Knox, and I'm not very spiritual. Until this week, I didn't know I had an aura. Never mind what colour it was.
Long hair and ticker tape. It's Holland v Argentina.
TV was a pretty different place then, right? Especially sports TV.
Yeah, and we weren't really on. I don't really know anyone else who works in TV because we were just on our own. Even within Sky, we were sort of like put on our own bit and sort of left alone. Because I think like it was a Saturday morning show on a digital channel, so the expectations of it were so low, like as in terms of viewership, and it always punched far above its weight for what it was. So I think the bosses sort of quite liked that they'd be out and their friends would say, "Oh, Soccer AM, really funny thing, Soccer AM." I don't think they actually really like, paid any attention to us, which was quite good because you got to do whatever you want.
I mean, there was some proper bonkers stuff on that show.
Yeah.
Tramp jumps into the arena. He gives the floor his Michael Flatley moves.
So, like, how did you get into TV? When did that?
I went to uni, same place UEA in Norwich. I then went to Canada for a year because I didn't really want to go into work straight away. I just wanted to mess around for another year. So I went to Canada and worked out there. I worked in gas station and that's Canadian for petrol station. For those don't know. Gas station and a coffee shop, and I worked in a restaurant in the mountain when I was in a ski resort for a bit. Then I came back, I got a job working at a TV studio. Someone I knew from UEA actually, who got me my job at Capital Studios, Dan Trelford does YouTube now, he worked for Avalon, who was Tim Lovejoy's agent at the time, and he knew that I watched Soccer AM, and he knew that Tim was looking for someone to work there in a junior role. They said, send your CV off, and I got interviewed and got the job.
So how did you go from that, like a junior role within a TV show, to becoming like part of it, as in front of camera character?
Well, that was in like week 2 or 3. You do little bits. Like it'd be like you dress up as an old lady, and you just have to stand there in the background or something like that. And then if you don't do anything too mental, like the next week do this, and eventually you might do something where you're talking and stuff like that. And then character, and it wasn't like this is going to be a big character. Quite often you do something, people would laugh at it, and it'd come back the next week, and then it would just remain for a couple of years or something like that. So it's a great job to have in your 20s. I wouldn't want to do it now because it was long hours, but it was a brilliant job to have at the time.
It was such an influential show at the time as well. Like,
I mean, because people would tell you a lot, sort of thing. But I used to watch it before I worked on it. But you would sort of you'd see the sort of impact things you would have on football as a whole. And like the Save Chip campaign, it was about one of Tim's friends, Chip, whose girlfriend wouldn't let watch football or something like that. And this thing just spread, and we've got people to hold up Save Chip banners, and you couldn't watch a thing on TV. Like Big Brother evictions, there'd be 3 or 4 Save Chip banners.
Amazing.
Every football match, they'd be there. When Liverpool won the UEFA Cup in 2001, on the bus, their bus tour was a Save Chip banner on the front of the bus. The bus through Liverpool. It was just everywhere, and you can see things that you do or things that you talk about would just spread throughout football. It was good, yeah.
Hello.
When I started doing YouTube, I thought, I'm going to try it for 6 months, see if I enjoy it. But long term, I'd like to make a portion of my income from it, not necessarily all of it, in 5 to 10 years. That was the time scale I was looking at. Obviously, it's gone quicker than that, but I make some money from it now. Not enough to live off, but some money from it now. But I think people go too short term with it. And you've got to remember that whilst I've only started doing YouTube, I've been in edit suites for 20 years. I've been out filming, directing, and Soccer Aim, you've got a lot more experience in edit suites than most other shows, just because there's so much stuff being made and you're getting at a younger age to make these decisions. So I've spent years learning to do this, learning how to craft stories and all BTs and inserts, which is weird now considering that I had all the skills to do YouTube stuff. But I hadn't, and I'd done podcasting like that, but I hadn't, until I did my YouTube video, I hadn't thought about it until maybe 2 weeks beforehand. And I literally hadn't crossed my mind. In fact, I'd listened to a Tim Ferriss podcast with Casey Neistat where he talked about this. Yeah. And I was sort of going, all right, okay. But even then I hadn't done it. It was having a conversation with Will Brazier, who you know. Yeah. And he was saying, you should do it. And I was going, well, I don't think it's not really for me, it's for kids. And he said, look, I don't want to come as rude. He said, but I know what it's like being a 18-year-old starting uni. Yeah. Because there's 60,000 vlogs every September about that. Yes, I don't know what it's like being 40.
That's it. That's the nail on the head. That's exactly what it is.
It's me and Blue Van Man are basically the over 40s YouTubers, something like that. And honestly, what it's like, rather than there's family vloggers that are telling
if my life was a film.
Yeah, like a sort of
real life. Yeah.
Which I understand, because you've argued to do family vlogging. I don't think it's fair to do the realities, because I mean my kids are in some of my videos, but I wouldn't put in the nice bits. People sometimes say, "Oh, do you worry about your kids?" You know, no. One, I'd take everything down. Yeah. If one of my kids got older and I don't like this, I'd go, just take them off. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Yesterday, my daughter's hamster had got out of the cage and disappeared again, and when it wasn't in the cage, she was obviously upset. Like, it would have been a great video trying to find a hamster, but she's obviously upset and worried about a hamster. So there's no way I'd film that and put it in. So I wouldn't put anything that they could possibly be embarrassed by. So I think if you are doing family vlogs, you have to make it look lovely, because it's not really fair on the kids.
And they don't have the
otherwise.
choice, really. They don't know like the wider picture of like how people will see it and how it can be taken and misread or whatever.
And you see, I did see one vlog, and it was, some people obviously do the bad things. It was like kids' first funeral, and it was like kids in tears. God. And it turned out it was their rabbit that died or something.
Oh, right.
But still, they were...
clickbait, that.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, and it's like 3 kids in black crying, That was the thumbnail. Like,
Oh
my
that's
God.
the bit about YouTube that I don't miss.
Yeah.
I don't miss that. It's like
But people worry about, I don't want to put my life on camera. I go, you've got absolute control of what you
Yeah.
put on. My
not Big Brother.
mum lives in our house. She wouldn't want to be on camera. No one's ever seen her. I don't discuss her in video. She lives in a sort of granny annex in her own sort of thing. You've got 100% control over what you put out there.
Yeah.
Should be sensible.
Great to see you. Great to have a little chat.
So just hanging out in the load bay of my 2008 Vauxhall Vectra estate.
All right, don't brag.
This quite a famous car. This has been in the music video I directed of where we needed a rubbish car that had broken down, and this fitted the bill for it. Star Sailor, all this life by Star Sailor. I directed the video, and you'll see this car in that video. Fact.
Wow.
You're amazed by that.
I knew you'd done some pretty amazing stuff in your time. I didn't know you had done a Star Sailor video. That's awesome.
Yeah, a couple. Don't want to count. But yeah, there we go. So well, thank you for coming for a walk. It's been lovely.
It's been good. Thanks for having me. Good to see you, mate.
Cheers, pal.
Safe journey home.
Bye.